Hello everyone, it's Dr. Grayson. Today we're going to focus on the concept of value. And we're all consumers and we make choices based on what we want and what we need. But at the end of the day, what's really important is whether we get what we wanted in the first place, and that is called value. Did our expectations match what we intended to get in the first place? So we're going to look at the consumer behavior model or value framework today. So we have a framework or a model that includes all of the basic components of how consumers define value. We're going to look at two really important types of value that consumers look for, and we're going to apply these into marketing tactics, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we're all different and what that means to marketers to be able to create value based on product differentiation and customer segmentation. So what is value? We've talked about this before, and what value is really the difference between all of the benefits that you're looking for in order to meet your needs. And then we look at the cost of acquiring those benefits and what the difference is. So there's something or an equation called the value equation. And as I mentioned before, you have two sides of an equation. You have the overall benefits that you receive as a consumer, and you have the overall costs. And the difference is that box in the middle that we call consumer value or customer value. So here where I teach in Utah, there's a quirky little soda shop called Swig. And there's more soda shops in Utah than there are coffee shops. I actually prefer coffee, but I have a lot of students who really dig this little company called Swig, and they make fancy types of sodas. And so what you'll find is there's a little Swig shop a block or two away from campus where I teach, and there will be a line of customers waiting to buy their $5 soda, which is basically fountain soda that you can get at the convenience store for 99 cents. But for some reason, there are different types of values to make your own soda at the Swig store than people would find at another place you could get a fountain soda. So if you think about it, the functional benefits at the top of the equation of the overall benefits, those are really what's in a soda. You got the flavoring, you got the kick that gives you a little bit of a buzz, you've got some ice, maybe you're a nugget ice person or a cube ice person, and you got the big fancy tank of soda that you could use as a shake weight, it's so heavy. So you've got what it is, and those are functional benefits. But then you have service benefits. Maybe you like just swooping through the drive-through, getting your soda, not having to leave the car. Or you like the people who work there. Then there's brand benefits. There's something about the Swig brand that has convinced people that the Swig soda is better than any other like soda that you can get at dozens of other places in our community. And then there could be other benefits such as it's close to school, or I have a gift card, or something like that. So you take that whole line of benefits and then you look at the cost. So you're going to subtract out the cost of what does it cost me to get a Swig? It cost me my time, right? I'm going to wait in line. And instead of, just going to the vending machine and pressing the button or getting one out of the refrigerator, I've got time, the money, I'm going to spend at least $3 to $5 on one Swig soda. And then maybe there's other types of prices or cost. Maybe you don't like to be seen with a tank of soda. That could be like a personal cost. Anyway, this is so simple. You take the overall benefits, you take the cost, you subtract them out, and that is the box of value. And the value is different for each consumer. So that's our job, to figure out what the balance is to reach the majority of consumers with their product line. So then you also have the perception of value. So I told you I'm not really fond of spending $5 on a tank of soda when I can go to the local convenience store and doctor up my own for 99 cents. Or I could take a soda out of my refrigerator in my office and, what's that going to cost me? 50 cents to $1. So you have to look at the perceived value. And here I have an example of a gentleman who has two choices in terms of apparel. There's the Supreme hoodie guy, and the Supreme hoodie guy might spend on the secondary market a good, $150 to $300 on that hoodie. Whereas you've got the gentleman over here who has the suit jacket, and he's got a value, maybe his value is less, streetwear and more fancy pants or business-like. So you could have this very same set of needs. I need to be dressed. I need to be comfortable. But the wants are, I want to look different, or maybe I want to make some sort of statement. So the perception of the value is in the eye of the beholder. Now then you've got your value, you've got your perceptions, you've got your equation. Well, how do we consume these things? So I'm going to bring you back to marketing principles where we've got the consumption process. It starts out with the need. So you have a need or a want. Right now, I haven't eaten all day. I'm hungry. Got it? You got some rumbling in the tummy, and my brain is telling me you need to eat in order to make it through the rest of the day. But what do I want? That's a harder decision. Do I want something healthy? Do I want a burger? Or do I really want my go-to donut? Because I love a good donut. But of course, I don't eat donuts every day. So my need translates into a want. And then I think about, okay, I'm going to go for the salad because I'm a good girl. So you get to the salad and you're like, okay, there's an exchange process that has to be made. I need to either go to my refrigerator and grab a salad and make it myself from the grocery store items that I bought, or maybe I am lazy and I'm going to call the DoorDash or the Uber Eats and I'm going to have that salad brought to me. So there's an exchange of time, money, other things that go into that process. So I'm thinking about which one do I want? Doing this at home. I have the refrigerator, but I don't have all the ingredients. Let's think about time. I got a bunch of videos to do today, so maybe if I call the DoorDash, I don't have to, make my lunch. That might take me, 5 minutes? But yeah, okay, so I might be lazy today. But on the other hand, I don't want to spend $4 in an upcharge to have somebody deliver it to my door. So I'm starting to go through that value equation of costs and benefits and what that looks like. So I've made my decision. I am going to go to the refrigerator and I'm going to make my own salad. And then I have a reaction. The salad is great, or the salad is ho-hum. If I get a Zupa salad or a Panera salad or a First Watch salad, I'm going to be happy, right? Because they have better ingredients than I have in my refrigerator right now. But I have decided I'm happy or I'm unhappy based on my choice, and that is where the value comes in. So that is the consumption process. And when we're done, we start all over again based on how we believe or how we felt that process went. Maybe the next time I'm hungry and I need a salad, I might go to DoorDash or get in the car and drive to the salad place. One or the other. So there's a concept called the consumer value framework. And I basically say, this is where we throw everything at you. every consumer possible behavior theory, and at the core of it, it really determines what your value is based on consumption. So it's a little bit hard to read there, so I'm going to just say, hey, there's lots of stuff on this slide here. But what I want you to focus on is that middle box, value. There's two types of value, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But as I mentioned in previous videos, you have a lot of things in consumer behavior that define value, and it's all about who you are and what your mind does and how you tick in your heart. So we have internal influences, which is all around psychology, the smart people who think about how do we learn, how do we perceive things, how do we process information, what is it about me? I've got an internal personality that's very different from anyone else in the world, as you know, if you've had me as a professor. What motivates me individually? What is my lifestyle? What is my emotional intelligence? What are my demographics? How did I grow up? So these things really feed into the consumption process, and then you look at the quality of what you're getting out of the relationship, and then you also have forcing on the other side those external influences. This is where our social environment comes in. Maybe when I'm with my friends, they might suggest that we go to a restaurant to get my fancy salad or my swig. Maybe it's the way my family has already often done things. I could be influenced by a social media post or a jingle that I hear on the radio or Spotify. And then there's situational influences as well. And those things can cause me to value something differently. Inflation. Maybe I don't have as much money as I had before. Timing. I only have 5 minutes before my next class starts. Excuse me. What am I going to do about that? And other conditions. So all of these things really force into how we look and determine value at the end of the day. So lots of words on this slide, lots of concepts that we're going to be learning throughout the semester. But I want you to think about this thing. There are two types of value. I showed you the perception of the two gentlemen. One had the business suit on, the other guy had the Supreme hoodie. Well, those could also be split into a couple different types of value. So a utilitarian value is rational and practical. So I'm going out to play pickleball. I need a pair of shoes on my feet, probably a pair of tennis shoes. So I could go to Nike or the Nike store or the retail store, and I could get a pair of Air Force One classic, white colorway, shape, tennis shoe for $110. And some of you are going, hey, that's a lot of money to spend on some pickleball shoes. I get that. But maybe I have an affinity towards Nike Air Force One shoes. But I also like luxury items. So I want to satisfy, maybe there's some cute guy at the pickleball court that likes luxury items. Probably not, but hey, it's worth a shot. And so maybe there's an emotional or sensory type of value I'm looking for. I want to be seen as the cool pickleball queen, and I am going to invest in the highest quality collaboration of the Air Force One, Nike Air Force One with Louis Vuitton. So, same pair of shoes. Literally, I took these off the internet. You can see there isn't a whole lot of difference between the Louis Vuitton collaboration with Nike Air Force One and just having the pair of shoes to get the job done, being able to play pickleball. So either you have rational and practical value you're looking for, or a hedonistic value, which is emotional and sensory. All right, so let's talk a little bit about personality. If you take my class, you are going to take the Myers-Briggs typology, and I go into discussing your personality, because I think in consumer behavior, it tells us a lot about who we are and how we behave. And so personality, there's internal influence, such as I mentioned before. We all have different personalities. We're different people. We come from different value systems. We have different lifestyles. There's lots of different ways that we react. You might be an introvert, you might be an extrovert, you might be an extrovert at work, an introvert at home. Nobody's the same. But the more we know about you individually and your personality, the better we're going to be able to serve up the value that you're looking for. Then we have all the situational influences. So I come from Minneapolis, born and raised there, spent my whole life until I became a professor to teach all of you. And there's the biggest mall in the United States called the Mall of America. Well, the Mall of America might be a place that I can consume lots of stuff, entertainment. There's something like 4 Apple stores there. Whatever you want to have or do, you're going to have there. They've got Nickelodeon Universe, an indoor park. They've got a mini SeaWorld type experience, golf, you name it, it's there. You go to Mall of America not just to shop, but because there's a particular type of environment I want to shop in. Things such as timing. Many of you, maybe the first time you left home, your home that you grew up in, or going off to college, or having a baby, or getting married, or you're retiring, your life changes and your lifestyle and the triggers of timing of life experience may change your value system. And then there's conditions. We talked about inflation. Maybe I can't afford to get my swig soda anymore, or I have to change how many times I drive my car. Or maybe I don't get my groceries delivered anymore because it's just darn expensive. I could lose my job. I could have a serious health condition that influences what I consider a value, because maybe I have a different set of values, or maybe I don't have as much money as I used to. So these types of things may change what we value over time. So I want to give you a little test here. So you may or may not have heard of Amazon Go. Amazon Go is a concept store where you can go into a grocery store like a mini Whole Foods, and you don't have to worry about anything. Everything has the ability to be able to go in, pick up your item, and then a scanner will calculate that item for you. You can walk out, never speak to anybody. For an introvert, this is just like God's gift to the grocery store. You don't have to talk to anybody, get your stuff and on your way out. I have a link to the Amazon video that I will put in Canvas and also in the comments on YouTube. But I want you to think about, how does this differ from just going to the grocery store? Are there motivations, personality, self-image? Maybe I just don't want to be seen. I want something fast. Or maybe there's other external influences, such as reference groups. Maybe my friends think it's cool, so we're going to go. I saw something on social media. Maybe I don't have enough time. I'm going to spend a little bit more to have the convenience. So I also want you to think about, in terms of value, is it utilitarian? I'm in, I'm out, I'm gone? Or is it hedonic, meaning it's cool for me to go in and go out? And you know, so it's kind of an interesting concept, which is which. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Now, I said that we were all different types of people. We're all individuals. So one of the things that we do with consumer behavior and all marketing strategy, because it's the very most important part of marketing, is segmentation. Segmentation is basically you have groups of people who have something in common. So I'm going to show you three different examples. So let's take a fitness club. So you've got lots of different ways you can exercise. I can go out across the street and play pickleball. I can do a little bit of yoga in my living room. I can use a mirror or a Peloton and have some interactive experience in my home. Because guess what? I don't like to have people watching me work out. That's me. There's an audience like that. So a little bit more utilitarian. Then there's other people who like to lift weights, be seen, get fit. Gym rats. There's some gym rats who like to go to be seen. Some people like to go to have socialization or relaxation. So you could take one sort of industry like fitness, and there's lots of different ways that we can group people based on their internal factors and their external factors. Now, what about age and life of a home buyer? So I remember getting my first home when I first got married, and it was a really tiny little rambler with a couple of bedrooms, and I was thrilled to be able to move out of an apartment and get a new home. But then I was recently married, and there's lots of negotiation that goes on with the home. But what about when we got a little bit, older and we had a family? That home didn't really fit us anymore. So there's lots of different things you can think of in home buyers. Maybe there's people who prefer urban versus living in the country. Maybe I would like to have an assisted living facility like my dad is at. So think again, age and lifestyle and income and all of these demographics really, and psychographics, meaning psychology, more of the personal aspects. How can you as a real estate agent think about these in terms of how consumers behave? Then online shopping versus going in the store. So some people love to shop. They love to go to the store. My mom was one of these. She would shop to shop and spend an hour in Target looking at all of the little trinkets, and I would go nuts because I'm a utilitarian shopper. I don't get pleasure out of shopping. I like to get in, get out, on my way. Where there's some people who like to surf on the internet and look at all of the different prices and the different marketplaces, and they want to find the best deal. Other people like to learn from others, and other people just are, they dig technology. But there's lots of people who just simply want an easy shopping experience. So again, market segmentation really is about finding the groups of people that have similar things in common, and then you develop your marketing strategies that target each one of those groups based on what they find as value. So think about all this. It all comes down to the consumption process, what you believe value is, and as we as marketers have to think about all of those different elements around what each segment or individual consumer finds as value. So take a bit of time to think about this on your own. So again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me through Canvas. Leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, reach out to me via Instagram, email me, or LinkedIn. I'm here to help, and I hope that you have found this value framework, which is really important. It just puts everything around consumers into a nice nutshell. I hope you find it helpful, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care, everyone.